Look who's taking the babies out for their second time. I'm pretty excited because I actually get to record it this time and share with all of you. So you can see what I mean with the Ebden geese, how there are some that are super yellow and some that are darker. And supposedly the Ebden are auto-sex breed, but like I said in a previous video, the study done on this breed was decades and decades and decades ago. So I'm not sure how outdated the information is, but it comes from what I believe is a reliable source. And I'm kind of excited to experiment with it myself. Now, this girl is, what, 10 months old now? And she has hatched out naturally 7 baby geese in winter. She's being an excellent mom. So I'm going to be keeping all of these babies and hoping that they have the same great genetics that their parents do. I don't know what it is about ducks and geese and waterfowl. It's like they have all the area that's green and beautiful, and they always are like, oh, look, a mud puddle. That's where I want to dig for food at. So here's the hose I was talking about for the pond. You can see that'll go to my garden beds. It's pretty awesome. I could watch this all day, guys. I could watch this mama goose hang out with her babies all day, every day, and never get tired of it. It's what dreams are made of. I don't care what anyone says. Have to excuse me if I get in a little squeaky voice. It's my bad habit. Get super excited, get loud and squeaky. It's just what I do. Hi. Hi, babies. I'm having to think that they're not 100% reliable as an auto-sexing breed, just because statistically speaking, for there to be that amount of females that have the gray bodies or the gray dot on their head just seems unlikely. But then again, I just hatched those duck eggs, 13 of them, and all were female except for 2. So, it's not always perfect 50-50, is it? So you can see all 7, and 2 didn't hatch, and they were actually pretty well developed. One of them started leaking the other day. I pulled it out of the nest and it smelled awful, just like death itself. And the other one looks like it stopped developing about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks in. It was over halfway full, but it just stopped and didn't develop any further. So it's unfortunate, but it does happen. But 7 out of 9 eggs is amazing for a seasoned goose, let alone one that's so young. You know, some geese are sterile and they never produce eggs, and you spend all that time raising them, and a lot take 2 to 3 years to produce. So, I mean, I really feel like I hit the lottery here. I can't explain, you know, how blessed I feel, what an amazing investment they were, and to see them just eating all of this grass and everything, I'm excited to let them loose around the yard and the garden, and, you know, instead of mowing the grass, let these guys take over that job. And then let them take over cleaning up the permaculture garden every winter and just managing the yard. I think these would be especially good in the banana plants. So the bananas grow really tall, but there's all those weeds that do gather at the very bottom in the soil level. And that would be a good food for them to eat. Sometimes she steps on the babies by accident, but they usually get out of her way. Yesterday, one rolled over on its back and had its feet in the air kicking, and it totally freaked me out, but I left it alone for a couple minutes. The mom was there, and she kind of nuzzled him over, and he flipped right back over. So, don't worry. This one is a straggler. Always behind, it seems. Very independent there. It's also a bit smaller than the others. I actually think it's one of the last ones to hatch. I wish that you could see the electric yellow these geese are. I mean, it really, this video does not do it justice on just how bright baby geese are. I've never seen this type of yellow. Oh, they're so confused. How do we get to our mommy? She's inside this fenced area. There's this big doorway, guys. That doorway is 4 feet, I think 4 feet wide. So the door we had on it's custom made. And that's what you see on their duck coop. I do want to clean up all these shavings on this side because they haven't been cleaned out since she started her nest, but I also don't want to take apart her nest. So when these babies are a couple weeks old and they're too big to fit under Mama, I think that'll be a great time to come in here and just completely clean out all the shavings, put those in the garden, in between the garden beds, and then give her some fresh shavings for bedding. But once these are a couple weeks old and they're as big as the ducks are, they'll be reassimilated with the rest of the flock. Dorian, our male goose, insist on being with the ducks on their side, which is fine because even though male geese are supposed to help raise babies, it was also a risk I was terrified to take. But he keeps jumping over by himself, so I'm not. Oh look, eating the peas that had died during the winter freeze in December off the fence. So cute. There's nothing cuter than a baby goose running. I don't care what anyone says. It looks like we're getting ready to go back to bed. Oh no, we've discovered the fence. I wonder if we're gonna try to exit it. It has a board across the bottom, so they're a little short, but if they're anything like baby ducklings, I guarantee you they could climb on top of it if they wanted to. I really think that she will probably likely start hatching a second clutch when spring hits. So it'd be really cool to get 2 clutches a year that we don't have to hatch. I have no idea how to hatch geese. This is my first experience with raising geese by myself. So the idea of hatching them in incubator is just not ideal for me. Hi, Charlie. Charlie has discovered Backstreet Boys, which my 90s heart is all for. I know. I'm just kidding. He doesn't like me picking on him. I understand. He's at that age, but it's super great to have all my boys like into the same music that was popular when I was growing up, and now it's the cool thing. But here are the gate latches that we decided to install because the gate would kind of stay open, and when it rains or the high humidity here, it's constantly swelling. So for 14 bucks we have a handle and 2 latches, and it's amazing. So it's a really cool thing that Larry installed for me along with the help of my little brother Jack, and it makes things so much easier. I especially don't have to worry about those baby geese slipping on out. This one is, what's it doing, Charlie? It looks like it found something in the mud. Is that grain? Oh, it's eating some of the grain that Mama Goose actually has some grain that she chewed up, and it's on the ground. And then when she was drinking water and cleaning, it kind of got wet on the ground. So the baby's eating some of that. And you can actually see like how the water gets kind of cloudy from her eating. So it has to be changed frequently. She's kind of hanging out with her babies here. They're so cute.
She's laying down and trying to clean herself off.
That's right, she sure is.
But with her head.
I think also when she does that, and look at the baby, it has Mama Goose's feather. Has Nemo's feather in its mouth. You cannot eat Nemo's feather. I guess they can. So the really cool thing is, with my ducklings, I have to wait 3 weeks minimum to let them in water because they don't have their mom to add that oil to their feathers, and they'll just sink or drown. They can't regulate their body temperatures. But these have their mom, and whenever they're sitting underneath her, their feathers and fluff are getting coated with her oils, and that actually helps them to be buoyant, and it keeps them from sinking because it basically makes them waterproof. Not exactly, but essentially that suggests. Yeah, they can swim right now if they wanted to. But I don't know if they can get into that bowl, probably, because it seems like baby ducks and geese are the best at climbing into weird situations. Look, one of them has a black bill. I've never seen that in a baby goose before. Actually, some of them have dots on their bills. I'm really starting to wonder if these are pure Ebden. You know, Ebden is a type of goose, which they're supposed to be, which would explain why the male's so large and why he is so white. And the female hens like her, it's not uncommon for them to have gray on them when they're under a year old, which she is. But I've never seen babies this colored, you know, so. I know. I just thought they were more yellow than this. I mean, they're electric yellow for sure, but.
They probably played the guitar. That's why.
Played the guitar, so they're electric yellow. That's funny. That's funny, Charlie. Oh, I think it's time to go back in. I got a little straddler back there. A little straggler. I said straddler. Whatever. Straddler, too. You see them sitting on their mom's back, so I guess that counts.
What are they doing?
They're still foraging, but their mom will make a certain sound, and they know her voice, and it'll call them back over to her whenever she's ready. And also when they get cold. What are you doing, Shadow?
Hey, you're
trying to climb into the duck coop. Shadow's our cat, if you haven't seen him in a video yet. He's our cat. He is an inside cat. He sleeps inside. He hangs out with us inside. But he likes to come outside and hang out with us in the garden and around the animals.
And try to eat them.
He has never eaten one of the babies.
So why is he trying to place into the coop?
It looks like he's actually just climbing up it to play and scratching his claws on the wood, which is fun. Oh, did you get left behind in the nest? Poor thing. I never thought that I would fall in love this much with geese. Guys, I spent my entire life being terrified of geese because my uncle had like 15 or 20 African geese growing up, and during nesting season one year, I got chased over 2 acres by the entire flock. And if you don't know, when geese bite and they pull your skin and twist, it is the worst feeling in the world. But she bit my son on the hand, but luckily he was wearing gloves. But she's never ever bit me, and she only bit him when he reached into the nest. Now she lets him pet her, so that's really cool. You can try, but she is a little nervous having babies. She really wants on the other side with Dorian, but because all of that water flows into the other side of the duck coop when it rains, and it is rainy season here, I really don't want the babies over there until they're a couple of weeks old, because I don't want them trampling through all of that mud and water.
And die.
Or getting stuck or just sludgy. Yeah, it's just not safe for them, I don't think.
Oh, look, some vegetation.
Use the turnips to make like mashed potatoes. That would be really good. Turnips get kind of sweet when you boil them. I tasted one of those greens yesterday that I picked to give to the rabbits, and you know, it was actually really sweet from all the cold weather that we've had. So I bet the geese are enjoying eating all the turnips.
I like eating turnips.
If you guys don't know, we're talking about the turnips that are right here, growing all inside the goose pen. We also grow them underneath our blackberries during winter time in the garden, which I think I showed them earlier in the video because the geese like to eat them. I feel bad for her because she really wants back with Dorian on the other side and to introduce her babies to the flock, but I'm not ready for that. So let's wait a little bit and let the other side dry up and keep her safe. With that said, I am going to go ahead and get off of here, and thanks for letting me just rave about my baby geese and their amazing mom once again. I'm sure there will be tons of videos to document them every week as they grow and mature, because this is just such a new and amazing experience for me. And I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we do.